All right, we are live.
Cool. Okay. I see people rolling in already. Welcome everybody to today's webinar. My name is Abigail. I'm the co-founder of That Clean Life. And I have here with me Ashley. Ashley, do you want to introduce yourself for people who don't know you yet?
If we haven't had a chance to meet, guys, my name is Ashley and I'm the growth lead here at That Clean Life. So I think by this time, most of us have had a chance to chat, but if not, I hope we talk eventually.
Yes. Okay. So what we want you guys to do right off the bat is open up the chat box, and we want to make sure that where it says 2 at the bottom, you check all panelists and all attendees so that you can speak directly to each other and that we can make sure that everybody's seeing it. So change it to that. And then we want to kind of check in with you and see how you guys are doing. How is everybody feeling amongst everything that's going on in the world? Feel free to say hello in the chat box. Let us know how you're doing. And also, we want to keep things positive and upbeat here. So if you have any wins that you've had in your business, whether you've brought on a new client or you've just sold a package or something like that, let us know in the chat box too, because we want to celebrate that. So I see first thing is from Heather. She says she's stressed. Gwen's here from Vancouver. Joan's all good. Hi, Debbie. Maxine. Who else do we have here, guys? Let's see it. Danielle, Carolyn. Okay, cool. Welcome everybody. So for those of you guys just coming in late, again, my name is Abigail and this is Ashley, and we're here to talk to you today about meal planning for stress and anxiety. And while you guys have your introductions and your wins coming in the chat box, in case you haven't been around That Clean Life for a while, or in case you've missed what's going on here, let me bring you up to speed. So when the pandemic hit, we were working on something called Nutrition for Your Business, and it was a 10-episode series, and it's also a podcast that we filmed in January, and we were rolling it out over the course of 10 weeks. But then the pandemic hit, and it just didn't make sense anymore to be talking about some of the things that we had scheduled because, it just didn't feel right anymore. So we put all of that out for you. Nutrition for Your Business is up on our website. If you go to That Clean Life, you click on series, it's there. So if you guys want to watch that, it's awesome. Ashley and I poured our hearts and souls into that to get you guys all the info you needed to grow your business, specifically your nutrition businesses. So check that out. So once we dropped that whole thing, that left our content schedule wide open. So we had to figure out what to create for you guys that would help you and help your clients through this time. So we started with the non-perishable food program. So we released that about 4 weeks ago. That's a 7-day program, all with non-perishable foods. After that, we released our immune support program, which we talked to you guys about a few weeks ago on a webinar. That one has been the most popular one. So if you haven't checked that out, please do so. After that, we did our healthy and affordable program because, as you guys know, a lot of people are struggling with financial issues. They've lost their jobs, and we wanted to put out a meal plan for you that is approachable and accessible for people who are struggling. We wanted to show you that healthy eating doesn't need to cost a ton of money. And then here we are this week with our stress and anxiety program. And then we have stuff lined up for the next, I think, 4 or 5 weeks for you too. So there's more coming after this. Next week, we're releasing something that we've never done before. I think you guys are going to love it. So stay tuned for that. But that's what we've done so far. But today here, we're ready to talk about meal planning for stress and anxiety, because this is a big topic in probably your client's life right now. We're all stressed out, we're all anxious, and we figure that your clients can probably use a program that will support them through that as well. So with that being said, we know that nutrition plays a major role in mental health, right? So when we developed our stress and anxiety program, we focused on really key nutrients that were scientifically proven to help manage stress and anxiety. So to get things started, I want to turn it over to Ashley and so she can talk about those key nutrients and tell you guys kind of what we focused on and how we built this really great plan.
Yeah, so we focused on 4 key nutrients for the stress and anxiety program, and I'm going to run you guys through each of them. Maybe you'll learn something. Maybe this will just reinforce what you already know about using diet to manage stress and anxiety. If nothing else, I hope that what you take away from this is how to talk to your clients and maybe express to them why these nutrients are important, because it's important for them to know what we know too. So the first is magnesium, and I think that this one is really popular, and your clients might already actually know about this. Magnesium supplements in particular have become incredibly popular in recent years, specifically for before bed. So a lot of people take magnesium at nighttime before bed for that calming effect. But magnesium can regulate your neurotransmitters and provide that calming effect all day long. So this mineral in food throughout the day is equally as important, and you can empower your clients by letting them know they don't have to take a supplement. It doesn't have to be only at bedtime. This can be supporting them all the time. So you probably already know this, but foods like nuts, seeds, dark leafy green vegetables are really high in magnesium. And because of that, along with all the other reasons that we should be eating those foods, we included tons of them in our stress and anxiety meal plan. The second is vitamin B6. So all B vitamins are, of course, important, but something really interesting that I actually learned doing research to build this program is that B6 specifically has been associated with panic attacks when serum levels are low. So low B6 is directly related to panic attacks, which is very, very interesting. So we know that during times of stress, the body uses more B6, so you run through it faster. You need a little bit more of it. So making sure that your clients are getting enough into their diet so that they're not spiraling into full-blown anxiety when that stressful time hits. So we are going through something stressful really as a collective right now, which means that we're all going through those nutrients a little bit faster while we process that stress. And having the right nutrition advice, getting enough B6 in the diet can make the difference between just going through that stressful experience and potentially developing a panic disorder from it, right? So this is a huge support. Nutritional yeast is really high in B6 and all B vitamins, and is like a food-based supplement that you can easily add into meals. So we included a lot of B6, a lot of nutritional yeast to provide additional B vitamins in our stress and anxiety support program. And also ingredients like turkey and eggs are also awesome sources that we worked in there as well. And like B6, low iron is also associated with increased anxiety. So we really focused on iron with this plan. I'll take you into it in a little while, but if you have a look, you'll see that the iron is quite high for a meal plan. So just coming from food, lots of iron. Levels high enough for even a woman in pregnancy, which is the highest iron needs that you ever have throughout the life cycle. And it's interesting because women are more likely to have low iron, and we're also more likely to have anxiety. So that's definitely something to keep in mind when you're working with a client who has anxiety, who is a woman who maybe has a history of anemia, is that low iron can actually cause anxiety. So getting enough in the first place through the diet to prevent that deficiency from occurring is one of the first ways that we can keep our clients feeling relaxed and not, again, going from stress to panic disorder during this pandemic. And we actually get a lot of requests here at That Clean Life for organ meats, recipes with organ meat. So we worked a little bit of liver into this meal plan. It's a really high iron food, and it's a really accessible recipe to the average client to sort of introduce your clients to this food if they're a little bit skeptical of it or haven't eaten a lot of iron-rich organ meats before. And then the last one is fiber. So obviously fiber is always important. We could probably do a whole webinar just on all the reasons that we love fiber and all of the ways that it protects our health. But in particular for stress and anxiety, poor blood sugar balance has been associated with anxiety, and that's preventable with a high fiber diet. So important to be getting fiber with every meal to balance out how quickly those sugars are hitting the bloodstream. And then research also shows that the short chain fatty acids that our gut bacteria produce when they get fiber, so when you eat a high fiber diet, you naturally produce these short chain fatty acids, actually help with stress management. So they can lower the stress response in the body, both emotionally and also physically, by lowering inflammation markers as well. So dietary fiber, in my opinion, is like the most important thing to be talking to our clients about, and especially if they're coming to you saying, should I be taking magnesium to keep myself chill? Make sure they're getting enough fiber. Let them know about how much fiber can support their mental health. And that will not only solidify your position as an expert in their mind, but it's also just helpful and empowering for them to know that they can get everything they need from a whole food diet.
Cool. So those are the key nutrients that we focused on. So what we thought we would do next is take you right into that Clean Life so that we can show you the stress and anxiety program and show you how we built it to focus on these key nutrients. So Ashley is going to fire up her screen share. And guys, if you have any questions as we're talking here, feel free to pop those into the chat box and we can answer those as we go along, just so we don't have a ton of questions to answer at the end.
Yeah. So for those of you guys who haven't been inside of that Clean Life before, welcome. I'm going to walk you through a couple of things that you might not have seen before we get right into the program. So the very first thing that you're going to see is new releases. So you'll see our newest recipes. Recipes are, everything about that Clean Life is awesome, but our recipes are really, really awesome. We release new recipes every single week. So this is constantly updating every time you log in. Once a week, we change out these new releases and we have new recipes there every week. So when you're scrolling through, you'll be able to see the newest recipes at the top. So if you're new to that Clean Life or you just signed up and you're wondering, how do I know where the new recipes are? You will always be able to see them right away when you log in. And then we also have programs. So that's what we're going to talk about today, is the stress and anxiety support program. So on the programs tab, you can take a look at all of the pre-made programs that you get access to as a That Clean Life member. There's really something here for everybody. We've got everything from vegan, Mediterranean, low FODMAP, lots going on. The stress and anxiety program, you can see right away, is also soy-free and free from added sugars. So when you see that sugar-free tag, it means that there's no added sugars. And in this case, it's in the whole meal plan, no added sugars. And when you open it up, you can take a look at those key nutrients that I mentioned. So up at the top on the program, the first thing you can see is the nutrition analysis. And you can scroll through from those macronutrients down to those micronutrients. So you can see that on Monday, we're getting 602 milligrams of magnesium, 26 milligrams of iron. We've got B6 somewhere here, 10 milligrams, which is a lot for B6. So you can have a look at that. And if you guys don't see that, if you are a member and you're not seeing that, you can update your nutrition preferences through your profile. So head to your profile, the preferences tab, and then you can select and deselect which nutrients you want to see or not see. So in this case, you can see I've got magnesium, B6, iron, and fiber selected, and I've got some that are not selected. If you wanted to add B12 to show up in your analysis, you could add that as well. So if you're ever wondering about a specific nutrient, if you're not seeing it, you can control that through your account settings. All right, so this is the program as it stands. You'll notice some of the recipes are grayed out. What that means is that that is a leftover. So for breakfast on Monday, we've got this coconut chia seed yogurt, kind of like an overnight oats recipe, but grain-free. And it's got strawberries, which are super, super healthy, antioxidant rich. We're just really into strawberries right now. Also supports the immune system, even though we're not talking about that in this webinar. That was last time. So on Monday, it's not grayed out, and then on Tuesday and Wednesday it is. That's because just like overnight oats, they're making this recipe one time, and then they're able to just grab the leftovers out of the fridge. So we want you to make it as easy as possible for your clients to stick to these plans, which is why we strategically use leftovers wherever we can, while still mixing in a lot of variety, right?
Yeah, that's actually an important thing to talk about, is the repetition on our meal plans. So we use a lot of leftovers, like Ashley said, and this is so that your clients can cook once and eat multiple times. And guys, it also keeps your grocery list small so that your client isn't going out and spending hundreds of dollars on groceries. They're going to buy, say they buy a bag of quinoa, say, and then they can use that up across the course of the week. And we do this intentionally. So I just kind of want to point that out, why we use repetition. And if you ever feel like your clients, want more variety, feel free to totally modify the plan. We like to look at these as templates.
Yeah. Like Abigail said, we're trying to reduce stress and anxiety. So we're not going to do that if we overload the shopping cart and have a $500 grocery bill and then a new recipe to cook every single time they have to eat. So we're minimizing all of that additional stress by keeping it as simple as possible. So you can see For example, some days like on Wednesday for dinner, we're making 2 servings of this recipe, and then we're saving an additional serving to have for lunch on Friday. So this is the kind of stuff that people love. Just make it easy for them to follow and eat what they're supposed to eat. And then, of course, you can always modify things. So like Abigail said, please view these programs as templates. You don't have to use them exactly as they are. In fact, we highly encourage you to modify them, make them work for your client, make them work for your program or whatever it is you're working on. So for example, I'm going to make a copy of this program and I'm going to make it egg-free. So we've got a few egg recipes on this program. You can see a couple of breakfasts, that peas and eggs, warm peas with eggs. Just a side note, I have been eating this recipe so much lately. It is honestly the perfect pandemic recipe because eggs last forever, peas are in the freezer. Also, we're all stressed out and maybe not wanting to spend a lot of time cooking. So I'm loving this recipe. However, I am going to delete it from this plan because it contains eggs. So I'm going to remove it from breakfast on Thursday and Friday. And then I'm also going to remove the snacks that use hard-boiled eggs. So these hard-boiled eggs with apricots, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. There's a couple different ways you can delete things, guys. Because I'm deleting the same recipe from multiple days, I'm using the unchecking, but you could also just remove from plan if you only have one recipe to remove, or if you want to remove it from one day and not another. Always lots of different ways to do things depending on what works best for your workflow. And there you go. So we had eggs in 3 different recipes on this plan, and now we have no eggs. And you can confirm that by heading over to the shopping list if you wanted to double check. So every meal plan that you create with that Clean Life automatically generates a shopping list based on everything that you've added to the meal plan. This makes it really easy for your clients to get in the grocery store, grab everything they need. It's also categorized, so they're not running around just based on the list that they have. They know, okay, I'm in the fruit section, got all my fruits, vegetable section, got all my vegetables. We're really trying to optimize the shopping experience to reduce stress and anxiety for them. And then looking back at the plan, another thing to note is the number of servings that I've noted. So for this plan, it's to serve 1 person, and they've got 3 servings of this breakfast to have it 3 days in a row. So that's also going to be reflected on the shopping list. If I were to decide to increase these servings from 3 to 6, for example, if this person and their partner both wanted to have this recipe for breakfast, that would automatically update on the shopping list. So you don't have to pull out your calculator. You don't need to do any of this math on your own. We take care of all of that for you. Okay, so let's fill in these gaps with some egg-free recipes, yeah? So what I'm gonna do is head back to that recipe database that I already talked to you about. And with all of these recipes and the fact that we're constantly adding new recipes, it's really important to be able to quickly find what you are looking for without having to scroll through and figure out what your client's going to eat. So we use filters to make that really easy for you guys. There's a couple different things that we do. So every recipe contains the time of how long it takes to create that recipe. So if your clients don't want to spend more than 40 minutes cooking, you can set a limit on that. You can also set a limit on number of ingredients. So if you have a client who's not into cooking or is new to cooking, which a lot of people are, especially right now, you might want to be going for recipes that are 5 ingredients or less, like super basic stuff that they can't possibly mess up and will always build that confidence in the kitchen when they have a successful result. And then all of our recipes are also tagged. So I'm gonna use the tag right now, egg-free. And we've also got tags for other sensitivities, dairy-free, gluten-free. We've got tags for specific meal types like breakfast, lunch, dinner, cooking equipment. So if they're using a pressure cooker or a slow cooker, you can find recipes specifically developed for those pieces of equipment. A barbecue is another good example, coming up on barbecue season soon. So I'm also going to, in addition to egg-free, apply the breakfast tag because the recipe that I deleted was from breakfast. So I'm gonna need to find a new egg-free recipe for breakfast. And then I'm going to also use my nutrition filters. So I'm gonna focus on those nutrients of interest that we already talked about. So I'm going to look for a breakfast recipe that has at least 6 grams of fiber, at least half a milligram of vitamin B6, Iron, I'm going to look for at least 2 milligrams for breakfast. The recipe I deleted had peas, so they're a really high iron ingredient, so I want to replace that. And then the last one is magnesium. I'm going to look for a breakfast recipe that has at least 60 milligrams of magnesium. And you can get as specific as you want. If you are working with your clients and they have labs and you want to look for foods that are high in B12 or some other specific nutrient of interest, you can do that too. But just based on that criteria, so breakfast recipes high in all of the key nutrients for stress and anxiety support. We've got 36 recipes to choose from. So I'm just gonna go ahead and use this strawberry collagen smoothie. My client's already having strawberries once this week, so it's always helpful to cut down on the shopping list to use the same ingredient across the board in multiple recipes. So for breakfast, I'm going to add it to this plan on Thursday and Friday, 1 serving each day. I can do that from right here within the recipe. You can also check out the nutrition if you wanted to have a look at it. You can see the exact amounts of all those nutrients of interest. And you can also double check the tags if you wanted to see which other diets this works for other than egg-free. So now if I head back to my planner, you can see that recipe is on Thursday and Friday, so that breakfast is taken care of. Then we've got to replace those snacks. So instead of having hard-boiled eggs for snacks, I don't know if you guys saw what I just did, but I went from planner back to recipes, and everything is exactly how I left it. I talked about this last time, but this is one of my favorite things about That Clean Life is it really saves you so much time because you never have to go back to what you were doing. It's already saved for you. So these filters are already saved. I'm going to take the breakfast tag out and I'm going to use the snack tag instead. So now I'm looking for snack recipes. I'm going to leave those nutrient ranges the same. So they're still going to be high in magnesium, B6, fiber, and iron. Pretty high, actually. Those ranges that I set were pretty high for a snack, but you can see that we've already got some options. So I'm going to say that my client is an on-the-go kind of person, so they're not going to have a smoothie for a snack. So I'm going to opt for like a snack box. This is awesome. So turkey wraps with almonds, cucumbers, and blueberries. We're already using cucumbers in the meal plan because we're making a liver pate and they're having that with cucumbers. So again, doubling up on ingredients is such a good tip, guys. And I'm gonna have a look at the nutrition. This is looking good. And it has a lot of protein, which is awesome because I was worried when I removed those hard-boiled eggs that that was gonna be something I was losing. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm going to scale this to 3 servings. I'm going to add it to my meal plan for snack 1 on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. I think I actually scaled it to 4 servings. Whoops, but I could have done it to 3. And I'm gonna go back to recipes. I'm not done yet. I've got 1 more snack to replace. So I'm going to go for this dip. This dip looks good. So avocado, tuna, and cottage cheese dip with crackers. Again, you can check out the ingredients. You can check out the nutrition. It's already at 2 servings, which is perfect because that's exactly what I'm looking for. And I'm going to add that for snack 1 on Saturday and Sunday. So now I've filled in all those gaps on my meal plan with egg-free options. So I'm going to fix that mistake that I made here. I accidentally set it to 4 servings. I'm going to change that to 3. See how easy that is though? Super simple to update things like that. And then I'm going to change Tuesday and Wednesday to a leftover. So I'm going to give my client the instructions to just make 3 of these snack boxes at once so they don't have to worry about snacks for a couple days. And then on this Saturday and Sunday snack, I've got 2 servings there, and I'm going to toggle the second to a leftover. And just like that, it took just a couple minutes and I was able to customize this plan and make it egg-free for my client. Really simple, none of the nutrition suffered. I've still got high amounts of all of those nutrients of interest. You can actually see we went from, I think it was like 602 milligrams of magnesium, and now we've got 728 milligrams of magnesium. So we actually made this meal plan even better, and it only took a couple of minutes. One more thing I want to show you guys about the programs before I show you how to send this to your client is that when you're using our pre-made programs, they all come with a prep guide. I find that a lot of the time you guys don't know about this, but it can be super, super helpful. So if you are using a pre-made plan as is, if you're not customizing it, Then this prep guide is going to walk your clients through everything that they have to do to stick to the plan. So all of their meal prep, so you can see on Sunday, they're doing a fair amount of meal prep, but then throughout the week, they've got very little to worry about. So if they're ever wondering what they have to do, or if there's something they have to prep the night before, they can have a look at this prep guide, and you can make a copy of this and you can modify things based on the changes that you made. So in this case, I would not be having them make a bunch of hard-boiled eggs on the weekend because we took out all those hard-boiled eggs. And then I would just swap out for them to make the warm peas with eggs to make the smoothie that day instead. Again, these changes take just a couple of minutes and can really elevate your client experience. So if you're not using the prep guides, they can be really, really handy for keeping your clients on track. And then the last step of this is obviously getting it to your client.
Sorry,
So,
Ashley, I just want to interrupt you real quickly because we had a question that I thought was interesting, and it was, how would you say reduce it by 300 calories? And I was wondering if you could click into the view where it shows where all the nutrition is coming from. If you just click on, yeah. And when we can show them exactly. So if you say you need to reduce something by 300 calories, if you click into the nutrition information, you can see exactly where the calories or the fat or the carbs or the protein for every single recipe is coming from. So looking at this, you can see that your lunch has 604 calories. I think that's the highest meal. So that might be an easy place where you could reduce calories if that's what you're looking to do. You could cut that in half to shave off 300 calories right there. Or you could kind of modify, 100 from breakfast, 100 from snack, or 100 from lunch. Another easy way is to modify portion sizes. So do you mind walking them through that real quick, Ash?
yeah, for sure. So for example, how are we doing? So when you click on the exact nutrient you want to look at, you get this analysis. So this turkey wraps with almonds, cucumber, these snack boxes, what you could do is have them eat only half of it. So instead of making this huge snack box, you could just get them to make smaller versions. So instead of a full serving, you can schedule them to eat half a serving. And you're going to see up here, if you keep an eye on those calories while this is saving, that nutrition just automatically updated. So that's another way that you can reduce the calories. Also, we used a lot of side dishes in this plan. So just like Abigail said, if you have a look at the nutrition analysis and you were wanting to reduce it by 300 calories, the side dish for breakfast and the side dish for lunch together add up to 300 calories. So what you could do there is just remove these side bananas from breakfast and remove that soup from lunch and have them just eat the wrap instead. And then you're going to, again, really easily be able to fit that nutrition profile that your client is needing. So we just dropped 300 calories easily.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. And then one more question. Can you show real quickly how to add a side dish? So if you click on the coconut chia seed yogurt, say you wanted to add banana back to that.
Yeah. So click onto the meal that you want to add the side dish for, and then there are 2 tabs on the dialog box that opens up. So main is already taken care of, but you want to add a side dish. So we're going to add that banana back in. You can search for anything. We were chatting about this earlier this week. A lot of our recipes are named really descriptively. So if you have an idea of what you want your clients to eat, you can just search and see what comes up. So if you wanted them to have an overnight oats recipe, you can just type in overnight oats and you'll see all of the overnight oats recipes that we have. So in this case, we just wanted a banana. So we typed banana, added that, and now you've got your side dish.
Cool. And then the last thing, I had a few questions come up about where you found the prep guide. So can you really quickly show that?
Yes. So when you head to the programs page, which with each program, you can view the program and you can view the guide. So there's 2 buttons side by side for every program. So as long as you're on the programs page, you can find the guide super easily.
Awesome. Okay, I think that's it for now. Sorry to interrupt.
Oh, no worries. If there's any other questions, feel free to throw them in there. So we were moving on to show you guys what your client is going to see. So let's say this is all good and ready to go, and we are now going to send it to the client. So you're going to click on this export button. And then you have a bunch of options, like we're always about customization, right? So here's how you can customize what you're sending to your client. So you can include the meal plan. Of course, you want them to get their meal plan and their shopping list if that's going to be helpful for them. And then we add notes to our recipes, things like ways to toppings you might want to add, or how to store the leftovers, how long to keep in the fridge for, that kind of information. You can leave those in, or if you're worried that they might contradict with some advice that you're giving your clients, you can take those out, totally optional. And then same with nutrition. By default, it is deselected. Like you can see, there's no green check mark here. So you can include it if you want to, but by default, it is not included. So in this case, I'm going to include it because I actually want my client to take note of all those key nutrients that we covered in our consultation where we talked about managing stress through diet. So I want them to have a benchmark for just how much magnesium, for example, they can get from diet alone. And then we're going to add a cover page. So you can just select any meal that you think is particularly appetizing and would get your client excited. For me, that is this chickpea flatbread pizza, because pizza. So I'm going to use the pizza. And then recipes, by default, they're all included. You could change that if you wanted to. If you don't want to give your client the recipe for banana, you could deselect it, but you don't have to do that. And then we give you this whole brief section to include any notes that you want to include for your client. And we also make it easy because we have some saved. So I'll go back and show you that again. You can see brief, you can create snippet. When you click create snippet, it's going to save everything you've written in that brief box. So I'm not going to use that here because I haven't written anything yet, so there's nothing to save. But I want to apply something maybe that I saved in the past, or use one of that Clean Life's templates. So the client meal plan introduction is a really quick way to introduce a client who's never received a meal plan from you to how it works. There's grocery list tips, shopping tips, how to read the recipes, what information is contained on the recipes. It explains leftovers so they understand why some meals are grayed out, just like I explained to you. And then you can add any links or anything else that you want them to have, as many pages as you want. There's no limit on what you can type in here. And then you click Start Export. I'm going to download it right to my computer and email it to my client. And let me show you how this is going to look for them. So there we go. My Zoom controls were in the way. So what your client is going to receive is in PDF format, so it's kind of like an ebook, opens well on any of their devices if they prefer to use their phone or their iPad, or if they like to get it on their computer. Looks beautiful either way, branded with all of your logo, your name, your website, email, all that stuff. As you can see, this is how the brief section that I added that snippet. So this is how that looks, and this can go on for as many pages as you want. And then we've got our meal plan. I actually downloaded this before. I switched everything out for egg-free in case you guys are wondering. This is the original. And the nutrition analysis, which I included. Again, remember, this is totally optional. So I want my client to see this, but if you are working with more like intuitive eating approach, or if you're working with eating disorder recovery and you don't want your clients to see nutrition, don't worry about it. They won't. And then we've got our shopping list. So in this case, it's nice and short because we're using lots of leftovers, and we were very strategic in how we put together our meal plan. Like right here, they are getting 11 eggs, right? They don't need 4 eggs to get through the week. They need the whole dozen eggs. We're being very, we're optimizing that shopping trip. And then they'll see their recipe. So every recipe page has a bright, appetizing food photo, ingredients, directions, nutrition if you chose to include that, notes if you chose to include them, and then most importantly, your logo, your business info. So if they share this with a friend or share it with a coworker, your functional business card is essentially being passed around, which is super helpful. Now, there's 2 ways that you can export these pre-made programs. So for the stress and anxiety support program, you would export it as a meal plan, but you also have the option to use it as a recipe book only. So if you wanted to just give your client like a personalized cookbook of meal ideas to support their them during a stressful time, or reduce anxiety, or just show them what it looks like to have recipes that are high in iron, high in magnesium, then what you would do is when you click on that export, instead of leaving plan selected, you would deselect it. And I would also recommend deselecting the shopping list, because if they're not making all of the recipes, they're not going to need to buy all of those ingredients. And just like before, you can include notes, you can include nutrition if you want to. I'm going to include nutrition here because I want them to see for each recipe how much of each key nutrient it contains. And then again, you can choose a cover page if you want to, whatever meal is calling to you. I'm going to remove these notes that I had last time because what you can do is actually go back into the templates, and just like we have a client meal plan introduction, we have a client recipe book introduction. So if you're sending your client a recipe book only, you can use that one. So I'm going to apply that one. And then something else to note with recipe books is by default, we're always going to include all of the recipes you have on your plan in this book, but you can also deselect some of them. So maybe I don't want them to have the recipe for just banana, or I don't want them to have a salad dressing recipe, although that one's really good. That recipe is surprisingly high in B6. And you can go through and customize this as much as you want. And then what your client's going to get is kind of the same thing. So we've got that same cover page with the beautiful food photo. They're already getting excited to make all of these recipes. Still, everything is branded. We've got this recipe book introduction, so welcoming them to their own personal cookbook. And then again, it goes straight into the recipes. So this time you're not seeing a meal plan, you're not seeing a shopping list, it's just straight into those recipes. And yeah, I think that's everything that I wanted to cover. Maybe one more thing to make note of is that there's another way to export a recipe book. If you wanted to create your own rather than using something from our pre-made programs, you could go to the recipe page, you could input all those filters. So for example, we're still keeping those nutrients of interest for stress and anxiety support. And then I'm going to say egg-free recipes that take less than 30 minutes and filter from there. So here, what I'm doing is I'm looking for recipes that are high in all of my key nutrients and egg-free. So this is this client's profile. This is exactly what they need. And then I can actually start creating a custom recipe collection for them. So I'm gonna add this high-fat chocolate smoothie. I'm going to create a collection. We'll call it Ashley's egg-free stress reducing recipes. And this is what I would give to my client. So I'm going to create that collection, and then I can just start adding recipes to it right here from the recipe page. So we make it really simple. I'm not going to add too many because I don't want to spend too much time on this, but I'm going to add 2. And then when we head back to collections, you can see we've got a collection with my egg-free stress-reducing recipes. And from right here, you can export it, recipes, so as a recipe book only. So there's a couple different ways if you wanted to create a recipe book specifically for stress and anxiety support, but you didn't want to use our recipes, you wanted to use all of your own selected, curated recipes, you can do that as well.
Cool. That was awesome. I think we got through most of the questions that came in. If there are any other questions, guys, that I missed, I tried to get them all and tried to relay them on to Ashley. You can let us know in the chat or in the Q&A box, and we can loop back around with those. But for now, what we wanted to do was talk about how you would use this stress and anxiety support program to retain your clients and to grow your business, because all of this is good to have, right? But we want to talk about how you can actually use it to move your business forward and to make your clients successful and super happy. So the way I kind of look at it is that your business can be in one of 3 stages. So stage 1, you're just starting out and you need to build your audience. And in that stage, you're kind of looking to build trust so that you can convert people into paying clients. Stage 2 is you have an established business and an audience, and you need to convert those people into paying clients and also retain clients. That's when you're looking to keep the clients you currently have on. And then stage 3, you have a successful business and you're ready to scale it. So you're already seeing lots of clients, but you're looking to see even more and you're looking for a way to scale that. So let us know in the chat box, what stage is your business at? Are you in stage 1 where you're just starting out? Stage 2 where you're kind of established and looking to grow? Are you in stage 3 where you're ready to scale? So I see a lot of stage 2, stage 1, stage 3. Awesome. Okay, so we have people kind of in every single stage. There seems to be a good mix. So that's great. Keep those coming, guys. We want to know where you're all at. So let's break it down by stage. Let's talk about how you can use the stress and anxiety support program depending on what stage you're at in your business. So I'll turn it over to you, Ashley, to talk about that first stage.
Yeah, so for those of you guys who are in stage one, we're going to do 2 ways that you can use this in stage one. So the first would be running a free challenge. For example, you could do a 7-day eating for stress and anxiety challenge where you take our stress and anxiety program and you use it to run a free challenge. So free challenges are honestly the best, especially if you're in stage one. They're an amazing way to get people to know, like, and trust you, which is really important. That's how you go from stage one to stage 2 and stage 3, is by gaining that trust. So when you run a free challenge and you totally crush it, it gives people a preview of what it's like to work with you. And that preview is really positive. So at the end of your free challenge, when you tell them about your other offerings, or you maybe offer them some kind of special incentive or bonus if they wanted to book an appointment with you or something like that, you could maybe offer like a complimentary customized meal plan to everyone who purchases your coaching package, or everyone who books an appointment with you after participating in your challenge. They're totally primed and ready to buy because they already believe in you. They've already been working with you for the past 7 days and they know that it's worth investing in. And then the second way that you could use it is a lead magnet. So maybe let us know in the chat if you already have a lead magnet, or if at least this is something that's on your radar, because this is something you could put together super quickly. You can use all those filters that I showed you, pop in those nutrients of interest, and you can search specifically for smoothie recipes, for example. So you could create a recipe book called 5 Smoothies to Help Manage Stress and Anxiety. You could do a little write-up on those nutrients we talked about, why they help with stress and anxiety, and then add 5 of those recipes to your lead magnet. And then from there, this is something that will attract people to you. So anyone who's struggling with stress and anxiety, who's interested in using nutrition to manage that, would be interested in downloading this lead magnet. And then you've got this whole list of potential clients, and you can work on converting them into paying clients just by nourishing them through your newsletter or using that free challenge that I just talked about. And this is something we talk a lot about here at That Clean Life, using lead magnets and free challenges to really build trust and grow your business.
Okay, so those are 2 solid ways, if you're in stage 1, that you can take our stress and anxiety support program and use it to, build your audience and gain trust and start converting your audience into paying clients. So let's move on to stage 2, where you're kind of established and you're looking to retain clients and get a few more. So first idea there is to run a paid group program. So for example, you could run something like a 4-week nutrition for stress and anxiety program. So you could use the support program we just showed you as week 1, and then you could use the filters like Ashley showed you to search for certain ingredients to build weeks 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, however long your program is. It's really easy to create those customized plans if you want to create a longer term program. So the meal plans, the grocery lists, and the recipes and prep guides will really act as like the foundation on which you kind of build your group program. So those will be the key pieces that people follow every week in your group nutrition program. But then you could also add cool things in, like having guests on every week related to stress and anxiety. Like maybe you want to have a social worker on to talk to your participants, or a therapist, or anything related to stress reducing tactics, like a yoga teacher or something like that. Do an online yoga class. There's so much you could do to make this group nutrition program really great. And I'm assuming if you guys are looking to do this soon, you're going to have to run it online. So there's so many cool other health professionals you could partner with to bring on every week and provide even more value. And again, that's totally optional. You can run a group nutrition program by just having people follow the meal plans that you create on That Clean Life. Now, in terms of what to charge for something like this, I know that's like always the next question you guys have is, how much do I charge for my program? Well, it totally depends. And you guys know we don't love answering this question because it just depends. It depends on what you're including, your experience, how long the program is. But typically we've seen people health professionals charge anywhere from $100 to $400 for a 4-week program. And again, that's a wide range, and it's because it depends on so many things. So once you've mapped out your group program, you'll also need to market it to get signups, right? So keep that in mind. You're going to want to have a strong marketing plan, because you can't just build a group nutrition program and expect it'll sell out. You have to really work hard to promote it after that too. So another idea we have for you is one-on-one coaching program. So I'll turn it back over to you, Ashley, to talk about that one.
Yeah, so group programs are awesome, but maybe you're not there yet, or maybe you prefer working with clients one-on-one. So in that case, you can consider a coaching program that is focused on stress and anxiety, where you're using our stress and anxiety support program to guide them through that one-on-one coaching experience. And this could work a few different ways. So first, if you wanted to offer a lower cost option, it could be a one-on-one consultation, a 7-day meal plan with recipes, grocery list, and prep guide, and then maybe daily email check-ins with this person as they're going through that 7-day program. Or you might be wanting to do something that's a little bit more long-term and has a higher price point. So in that case, you could turn it into something like a 6-week coaching package. And there you're providing weekly meal plans, weekly check-ins, progress reports, making sure that you're staying in touch with them. And you can build out additional weeks of the stress and anxiety support program in That Clean Life to support them throughout the whole journey and make sure that it's customized to their exact needs. So once you've figured out what this one-on-one program looks like, be sure to reach out to your audience and let them know that you are offering this. Please do not just add it to your services page on your program and hope that people find it. Let everybody know, hey, I'm here to support you with this. And they're not going to work with you if they don't know how. So don't be afraid to really get out there and talk about it.
Yeah. Okay. So again, 2 really great ideas. Whether you want to see clients one-on-one or whether you want to work with clients in a group setting, there's so many ways you can use the stress and anxiety support program to do that. Okay, now let's move on to the third stage, because I did see a few of you guys are there. So you have an established business, everything's going well, you're serving lots of clients, but you need to find a way to serve hundreds or even thousands of clients. So what we came up with for an idea for that one is a meal planning subscription service. So for example, let's call it the Anxiety Warrior Club. So you build a subscription service that offers monthly meal plans and other content related to what you offer. And members can sign up, they pay a monthly fee, and they get access to you and awesome content. So we've had a few members of That Clean Life be really successful with that. You can use That Clean Life to create the materials for your membership site so that you don't have to spend hours creating that on your own. So those are just a few ideas. So tell us, guys, which of these resonates with you the most? Did we talk about any ideas today that you're like, yes, I could totally do this right now? Let us know in the chat box how you're feeling after kind of hearing about the key nutrients, seeing the meal plan, and hearing some ideas of how to use it. Let us know in the chat which one you want to take action on, which one you're most excited about. So I see Laura's excited about lead magnets. Joan's thinking about a paid group program. Rebecca's talking about a free challenge. Cool. So we've got people touching on every single one of these ideas. So that is really cool. So guys, I think we got to most of your questions. Some of them might have gotten, I'll be totally honest, I saw some and then the chat's been so busy that I've kind of lost them. So if we didn't get to your question today, I'm sorry, but we're standing by to help. We're really accessible via email. So send us an email to support@thatcleanlife.com if we didn't get to your question, and we'll get a response back to you right away. So we will leave it there today, guys. Thank you so much for coming and joining Ashley and I. It's always so much fun to show you guys around That Clean Life and talk to you about how to use it to grow your business. And we're going to be sending out the replay right after this. It just takes us a while to get it uploaded and everything and ready to go. So keep an eye for the replay if you want to go back and revisit anything we talked about. And like I said, shoot us an email anytime. We're always here to help. So thanks again, everybody, and we'll talk soon. Bye.
Bye, guys.